Hey guys, DC here, and we're back with another Versus breakdown. It's been some time since I've done a breakdown. My first one was the Dipset versus the Locks, which I may kind of get into a little bit here in this video. I also did a breakdown on Ja Rule and Fat Joe. That one was a little bit more thrown together. I didn't really have a deep analysis, just kind of throwing my opinion out there, which was not the most accurate. Now that brings me to again the Usher versus Chris Brown here. I want to start off by saying that this is hypothetical. This versus battle has not been officially set up or announced. It's been spoken about. I would say for the last year and a half at least, as like a dream versus, and as of late, it seems like Chris Brown has really kind of made it more realistic as a potential matchup. If you watched his last Drink Champs interview with Nori, there were some names thrown around in that interview, and the only real one that he was entertaining was Usher. I think that he thinks it's a good matchup, and he seems like he is ready. So I think that if we can get Usher on board, I think that this could actually potentially go down. So the conversations have been sparked again. So again, don't say that I'm clickbaiting or anything like that. Again, this is hypothetical as of now, and we're still waiting on an official announcement. Now, beyond that, beyond this being a hypothetical list, I also want to say that I've put together something that is almost impossible in certain cases, right? So both these artists have a lot of music. They have a lot of remixes and part twos and different versions of their songs, and so it was difficult trying to pick like a solid 20 or so for each artist. Chris Brown, he just recently released an album, right? So he has tons and tons of music to pull from. And so before you jump out the window and say, oh, my list is invalidated because I don't have all the songs that you'd include for Chris Brown. I'm missing this song, I'm missing that song, I don't have this song on there. Just keep in mind that again, if you're going to say that one of the a song that I didn't add is not included on here, you're free to go ahead and say what you'd replace it with, what you'd replace it with, essentially. So anything you see on my list for like Chris Brown or Usher, let me know what you'd replace it with, and would it, really make a significant change as far as the outcome of this battle ultimately. So again, went with a solid 20. Obviously, they have very deep catalogs. There could be a whole, separate 20, list for them. The night of the verses, who knows what's going to happen? More than likely, I'm assuming they're going to play more than 20 songs between both of them. It can get into the 40s, knowing these two, if they really kind of went deep into their bags, deep into their catalogs. So lots of music to pull from here. So difficult to kind of get together something that that I'm happy with, that everybody would be happy with, right? When you watch your verses, hardly do the artists play every song that you think they should play. There's always something missing. So just keep that in mind. One thing I wanted to add too, I mentioned the Dipset versus Locks versus in my video on that. I would say about 95% of the songs that I included like on my list were played during that versus as well. So, I think that my list selection, my song selections have been pretty, spot on for the most part, with a small limited sample. Now, let's get into these artists a little bit more as far as just as far as their background to a certain extent, again, I don't know exactly their full sort of stories coming into the industry, but I will say that there is a connection between them. At least one that I know of fairly is there is the Diddy connection. And what I'll say is I think that Diddy did executive produce Usher's first album, Usher's first or second album, and I think based off the Drink Champs interview, I think Diddy actually may have passed on Chris Brown initially. And I know it doesn't really seem like a connection per se, but I think that's just kind of interesting, kind of that little that little fact that he produced Usher's first album or so, and then had the option with Chris Brown and decided not to. So take that however you want to take it. And I think that's it for just a little bit of a breakdown there. I think Chris is ready, and I know that Usher's in shape. If you saw his tiny desk not too long ago that was released, I think within the last week or so, depending on when you're watching this video, his tiny desk really kind of gave us a little glimpse of, what could potentially happen on the stage. But let's just kind of get into it. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit here. I have my set of 20 here. I don't have all of the features probably properly credited. There's so many different versions of these songs, and part ones, part twos, remixes, three versions, three remixes for a lot of these songs. So I put together a little bit of something here, and I'll maybe fill in some of the features that kind of come to mind on some of these songs. Again, with R&B artists, they have, a lot of times they'll have their original ballad, and then they'll throw a rapper on it for the remix. So, that happens pretty often, especially with Chris. Almost all of his, songs, there's a version with like a rapper on it, Jewels or Wayne or somebody like that. So I want to get started here without further ado, just kind of give you some of these matchups and show you how this can play out. Again, this is a scenario. These 20 songs here is a scenario of how it can play out throughout the night. Obviously, they're going to probably be playing more music than just what I have here. But I'll start with this list and try to give you guys a breakdown as far as how I see it playing out. Now, I'm going to start here on Chris Brown's side. We have Run It with Joel Santana. There's also a version of Run It, I think, without Joel's on it. All right, so, obviously the Joel Santana version, I think, is obviously the more commercial and the one that was being pushed. I know there's the video for it, all that great, big record, one of his earlier records with Joel's. And, who knows if this even gets played, right? This is Chris Brown. Joel's is potentially the reason why it blew up like it did, right? So does it make sense for him to go ahead and play this? I'm going to go ahead and just start with it, though, here. So for our first matchup, I have Run It featuring Joel Santana. It's a very Chris Brown song. We're introduced to Chris Brown on this. And as far as matchups, again, like I said in my video with Dipset and Jadakiss, I use sort of like the athlete sort of scenario. When you have the best player in a team, you're never out the game. There's also another sort of comparison I can make, or an analogy I can make, where it's all about matchups, right? So I think that Chris Brown has to have good matchups, right, against what he plays up against Usher to win this. He has a little bit less room for error, I think, as far as what the songs that he plays. Because the thing is, he also has a huge catalog, so he has room for error with his entire catalog as far as what he actually puts in his top 20. It could be tons of songs you can pull from, but there's room for error there. But when these songs actually match up against an Usher song, he needs to be careful, or it can get bad for him if he doesn't make that right matchup. Now, with matching these songs up with Usher and Chris Brown, you'll start to notice here that, again, you know, Chris is definitely more of a pop artist, pop hip hop. You see these, you'll see kind of when I start to do some of these matchups here and how I think they're gonna go. That it's easy. It's in certain cases it feels like it's apples and oranges. Obviously, they're both R&B artists, but it just it's tough some of these matchups. I think just because the songs a lot of times will sound so different, right? But I'm going to start off here with "Run It," very sort of classic Chris Brown song, and I'm going to put it up against not "You Remind Me," but I think that I think "My Way" is a great sort of matchup between these two earlier on in their careers. Uh, Run It, Run It, I think was a bigger sort of splash earlier on for Chris Brown. He has Joel Santana on it, and again, I hate to keep saying that Joel is on it. It ends up being a bigger song, a little bit more of a pop song too. And again, you'll see here that when you go through Usher's catalog, it's a lot more R&B. He has a lot more ballads. Chris, has a lot more up tempo pop songs and hip hop songs. He's rapping on a lot of his music too, right? Where I think he's going to need to leverage that as far as his versatility on tracks, because a lot of his songs have that heavy production on his songs that are great to dance to, right? So he may or may not dance, which I don't think is the best idea on a Verzuz stage. We saw what happened to Omarion, but I think that his songs are great to be played, danced to, listened to, go well over like in a club, on a big stage. But when you try to get more intimate, you strip those instruments away, you strip the production away, you're just left with your voice, right? So when everything is stripped away, you're left with your voice. But not to kind of ramble on this first selection, but I actually will give "Run It." I do prefer it over "My Way." I love "My Way." Early Usher also had a decent video there, but I think that I think "Run" is just a better sort of song overall than "My Way." So I'm gonna go ahead and give that to Chris Brown with the Brown line. So that'll be my first selection. I'm gonna go ahead and give that Chris Brown for "Run It" over "My Way." And again, this is just a scenario of events I'm creating. These guys have tons of music. So again, don't kill me on some of these matchups. It's just a way that I think it's just a way that the night could go. And again, it can go in either way. We've seen crazy, we've seen crazy things as far as with Mario and Omarion, the way they matched up. It looks awful on paper for Mario, but you see him just kind of make his way through with his vocal talent. And I think that's going to be the same sort of way that Usher gets through the night, vocal talent, when everything else is stripped away. So let's keep going here. So I actually gave that "Run It" over "My Way" to Chris Brown. Next song here is we have "Yo, Excuse Me, Miss." Another early Chris Brown song I liked as well. So again, his first record or first album or so has a decent amount of hits on it, right? So definitely blew him up, his profile. Now for "Yo, Excuse Me, Miss," I would say that from what we have here on Usher's list, right? Again, this is a hypothetical. I think that "Yo, Excuse Me, Miss" probably matches up the best with like you Remind Me. I would go ahead and make that match. And again, you can argue otherwise, right? I'm just going ahead creating hypotheticals as far as kind of where it would go. And again, we're kind of keeping it fairly earlier on in their careers here. But with the "You Remind Me," I think "You Remind Me" is the better song there. So at the end of the day, a lot of these Usher songs are hard to beat. So again, like "You Remind Me," I think "My Way," yes, beatable. We can go ahead and interchange, "My Way," that matchup with a lot of songs, and I think My Way can lose easily with Chris's catalog, but there's not a lot that you can do to. I think you remind me is getting up there where it's one of my more preferred songs, and I prefer Usher on this within that matchup. I'm gonna go ahead and give that matchup to Usher here. So I got the Usher kind of like in the yellowish and Chris in the brown here. But I think You Remind Me is a decent matchup for Excuse Me Miss. It's one of Usher's, and Usher has a lot of heat here. I would say one of his mid tier songs. And maybe one of Chris's, not maybe not mid tiers, but a decent song here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just match up You Remind with Yo Excuse Me Miss, and You Remind Me is gonna go ahead and get that matchup there. All right, so we're gonna keep on going. And again, we're starting off with the heat early here. And again, it may not be played in this order. These songs that I'm listing here, these may be played at the end of the night, you know. So I went ahead and just go ahead and listed these songs out kind of in the order of kind of how they came to me, more or less. But these songs will probably be played backwards at the end of the night, or a lot of these will be played towards the end of the night, and I think that it's gonna come down to strategy with Chris Brown with when he plays these and after what scenario. A lot of the versus rules are messy. We don't know. You need 11. You need 11, but who knows how this is going to play out. 11 is what I'm kind of giving a scenario for, but we're going to see what they allow them to do, how much dancing is going to be included. So as of now, again, you remind me over Yo Excuse Me Miss, and then I'll give Run It Over My Way. We're going to go down to, let me see here. We have Gimme That, Say Goodbye, Kiss Kiss, Take You Down. We have Yeah on this side. All right, I think that I'm gonna go back over to Usher's side. Let me see here, Nice and Slow. I think Nice and Slow. I think as of now, looking at this list, the Nice and Slow probably matches up best with like a Take You Down. To be honest with you, this is a high level for both of them. Nice and Slow I think is way more commercially. It's way more commercially successful, if I'm not mistaken, than I Could Take You Down. I know Nice and Slow was one of like his lead singles off of one of his albums. Take You Down, also very popular. I don't know if it was like a Chris Brown lead single. I think it ended up being a single, but Nice and Slow is a classic song. And what I like about this matchup here, again, same sort of. Take You Down is not so poppy, right? It's definitely more of an R&B song. Nice and Slow, we know, has that kind of R&B vibe to it. Well, I'm gonna go with. Let me go and do this line here. I like the Nice and Slow Take You Down matchup. This is hard because Take You Down is one of my favorite Chris Brown songs. It's a fan favorite. All the women like it. But I think Nice and Slow also one of Usher's most recognizable songs. Take You Down. This is a tough matchup. I'm gonna go ahead. Let me go ahead and just maybe give that. This is a hard list. So you gotta. I'm gonna leave that as a black line. Nice and slow versus take you down is hard. I can't choose it as of now, but let me come back to it. There's gonna be rounds that are hard to call, like in any verses. When I was there at the Dipset vs. Locks live, it's hard to call some of these records or some of these matchups, and we'll see if they kind of allow you to do that. You know, Omarion and Mario, and even these prior verses, they're playing like three songs at a time. You can't really even judge a lot of this. But I think these two match up well. I like the nice and slow take you down matchup. So I'm gonna leave that as a tie for now. And then we have the Say Goodbye, another big Chris song. And this is tough for Chris, in my opinion here. So Say Goodbye. Again, I'm trying to kind of keep it fair in a lot of cases for Chris, but this is tough to kind of do. Uh, let's take a look here. It's hard to say how these songs are going to match up, but what I'll do here is I may need to come back to that. Let me go further down his catalog here. Deuces, Look at Me Now, Beautiful People. Let me go back towards the top, maybe a little bit later on. Back to Sleep. Now, let me talk about number 12 here. So, Umbrella. He's on the remix. This song, Umbrella, as you know, it's like a Rihanna Jay-Z song. I don't, there's so many different versions of this song that exist. I can't really pin it down, right? But there is a version with Chris Brown with the Cinderella remix. He's a featured act on it, but this song is, I think when this song dropped, like that summer, the summer that this song dropped, it was first of all, Umbrella was already a smash, but then his remix really kind of, I think, took it to a whole nother level. So a lot of people may not include that kind of in his catalog, because I don't even know if it's like a real sort of, I don't know what even album if it's on, but yeah, the Cinderella remix. I don't know if it's on like one of his albums or it's on like a Rihanna album or somewhere, but when this dropped, I definitely remember kind of it having a pretty good impact, especially kind of off of the original song's success. Now, this song with Rihanna, what would I match it up with here? Let me go down their catalogs here. So I think that yeah, You Got It Bad. We have My Boo. So yeah, let me go ahead and, since there's kind of features on both these songs, I think that let me go ahead and do My Boo, which I'm not a big fan of. Let me go ahead and match up My Boo with I think this has a lot of potential here. This little remix, if he plays this like in a verses, again, because it's not necessarily about it's not necessarily about sales and all that stuff. It's like if he can perform this well on stage, and again, because I think My Boo is, it's hard to say, is more commercially successful potentially than this remix. The Umbrella song overall, like all the different versions, may have been maybe equal to like a My Boo success, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe his specific remix, maybe not, but I think that if this is performed well, this remix for Umbrella, I think that that is perfect on a Versus stage. It has that sort of mixtape sort of vibe, like, that Jadakiss sort of energy where if he can kind of get that off, then I think that's, that does well for him during the night. Let me see. I was using Brown for Chris Brown, right? So let's keep. I'm gonna go ahead and put that over My Boo. Great song, great Usher song with Alicia Keys on it, but I don't think it's. I don't know. I think it's very beatable with the right song. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the Cinderella remix over My Boo. So we have that there. Let's maybe keep on going here. I think that either this is an option over My Boo. I like this over My Boo, Umbrella, and then also going further down to the catalog. A lot of people probably wouldn't have this on their list, but I have Superhuman with Carrie Hilson. So I think that either one, either the Superhuman over My Boo, I prefer. Again and again, vocally on some of these songs here. So vocally on Superhuman, he gets in his, that proper sort of key, that proper register. He's singing like on these songs. It's, very production is not crazy on this, like a lot of his songs, where it's like how is he being pushed vocally on some of his songs. And keep in mind, Chris is dancing half the time when he's performing. There's a lot of dancing. Usher dances too, but obviously Chris has the leg up on him in dancing. So his music, again, a lot of his music, you go through it, a lot of his catalog, heavy production, which can, kind of maybe compensate for not the best singing, but it's great to dance to, great in the club. But again, when you strip all that away, you just left with your vocals. What are you going to do on that stage? So again, Omarion and Mario is a great example of what happened there. I'm not saying that's going to happen in this case, but that kind of gives you an idea of what could happen to you when kind of your opponent is just singing, and you're incorporating a kind of different things into your act here. All right, so yeah, I wanted to kind of maybe get that out the way, the Umbrella, and then My Boo. I think this is a kind of a slept on sort of feature here, but I think he may be able to perform this well enough to and again, none of these are easy. When it comes to singing, none of this is easy. But I think that something like this, he may be able to. It's a popular enough song, people know the kind of the melody of it. Where if he sings it right, then he can get My Boo out of here. He's going to need some of these potentially to get through Usher's vocal ability. All right, so let's keep on going here. So I'm going down. We still have Say Goodbye on the board. We still have Kiss Kiss with T-Pain. We have Deuces here. See, a lot of these songs, and I think Tiger's on this too. So I didn't put some of the features on here, like I said before. But Tiger's on here, and Chris has actual verses on here, so he's not just singing. I think he needs, again, like I said before, to leverage that. All right. I'm gonna go with You Make Me Wanna. You Make Me Wanna needs to be matched up. I wanna do with something kind of earlier on with Chris's career. So either like the Gimme That, Say Goodbye, Kiss Kiss, or maybe even Poppin'. So I have Poppin' down here that can substitute, I think, for any of these one through fours. Let me go ahead and just choose one that I think that it will easily beat. This is one of Usher's high performance songs that I think will probably just it's going to beat most of a lot of Chris's catalog. I'm gonna use it on maybe something that's easier to beat. So you make me wanna. It's hard to kind of really match this up, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it up against like and these songs don't sound alike, but like maybe like a Give Me That slash Poppin'. If I were to do like the replacement, I think Poppin' actually would probably would be probably the best matchup. So let me go ahead and do this here. So we're gonna do. I'm just gonna have it take number three away. This could be poppin' too. Like I'll just say this. So poppin's down here, but it can sub or you can put them together. Either one is getting beat, but poppin's probably the better matchup. So I just move popping up. I would replace it with Give Me That. You could leave Give Me That there, but Give Me That or Poppin would lose in that scenario. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead. I don't know what color I was using for Usher. Let's see here. All right. So you're making one over like a Give Me That or a Poppin would lose. All right. So now it gets worse. It's hard, it gets worse for for Chris badly here. These are all kind of like okay, these are wins, maybe minor wins, but these are still wins. Like you remind me, you make me wanna. Let's take you down. That may be Chris's here, but we'll see. Versus Nice and Slow. We're gonna go to Yeah. Major banger. It gets played and there's several remixes. I don't have, I think Lil Jon, Ludacris, tons of remixes, songs and versions of this song. It's everywhere, right? It's everywhere you go. Yeah, it still gets played when you go out. So for Yeah here, we need some a Chris Brown song that's still played everywhere. Like anywhere you go out, you still can't get away from it. Now Chris has a few of these songs like that, like "Turn Up the Music," "Beautiful People." Right, and yes, there's more than this. There's also those big international type feeling records where it's like anywhere in the world you go, you can maybe hear it played. But I think that like a Yeah versus Turn Up the Music, and I can't remember the other song, but there's something very similar. There's a few that are like this on that album that are very kind of like dance type vibes, right? Same thing with Yeah. It's not such an R&B soulful song, dance vibe, tons of remixes, but Yeah it would not be. I don't see it like over like it could be either one of these. There's also a third one that's pretty similar to like Turn Up the Music or Beautiful People. I don't think that that's gonna get it done though. On a vocal sort of aspect to these songs, I think that again, Chris on these on Beautiful People, Turn Up the Music, and there's another song. Vocally, Chris, I think those songs sound nice. I don't know if he's being pushed into different keys. Again, these are high energy, high production type songs. He sounds good on them though. But I think kind of when you strip away some of the production on these songs, they don't sound as well if he was just kind of maybe sing sing like a cappella with the kind of with the instrumentation stripped down, the songs start to sound kind of much different. But let me go ahead and give. I'm gonna put Yeah up against again whatever you think his biggest song is, and I'm not big fans of either one of these. But I'm gonna put it up against something big that you still kind of hear. Cause yeah, I don't. There's nothing here that I think as far as as a song that can beat Yeah. Different remix. It gets played all the time. It's still it's still very well in the culture. So he doesn't have many options here with Yeah, going up against that. I'm gonna put it up against Turn Up the Music, go up against maybe like a Beautiful People, but there's nothing else really I think is appropriate for it that makes sense. As to be a huge smash. Um, and a lot of Chris's huge smashes I don't like so much. Yeah, it's cool. I'm not a huge fan of Yeah, but I definitely respect it. So that's going to be Usher's there. You can switch out any song you want. If there's another album cut that you like, and again, I don't have again all of their music, but you can switch out Yeah for anything and see what you if you think that's gonna do it for Chris. All right, now we have Burn. So it's getting spookier for Chris. Uh there's not much here. What do you play up? What do you play up against Burn? It's tough here. We don't, we have Loyal, which I think he's also rapping on too. But it's like, what's gonna be a good matchup? What goes up against Burn that where it makes sense maybe? I'm gonna put Burn up against maybe like a Say Goodbye. What else makes sense for him to put up to for him to go up against? So there's not a lot of again, a lot of this can feel like apples to oranges in certain cases, but there's not a lot that Chris can do with something like this. Maybe Say Goodbye is not the best option, but for him to stay alive, like in this battle, he may need to sacrifice. Go ahead and go ahead and sacrifice. He probably will need to sacrifice songs like this just to kind of keep it close, have it make sense, moving forward here. So there's gonna be songs where if Usher plays Burn, he's not gonna want to put on like Loyal or something like that. And again, he better become ready to sing. He's not gonna want to put on certain songs. A lot of Chris's heavy hitters, he needs to kind of play strategically. So I have Burn over a Say Goodbye. It's going to be a lot of the catalog here without going up against like a top Chris Brown song. Confessions Part 2, you got it bad. See, Burn, Confessions Part 2, all these songs are, there's not really a good response for Chris here. And let me know if I'm going crazy. So we have Kiss Kiss, Deuces. and you know what? Kind of looking at this, so I have confessions for say goodbye. Oh no, no, I have burn for say goodbye. I think wait, I think I may want to switch something here. Let me see. Chris needs the lever. I'm gonna actually burn and confess. You know, burn is a top tier Ush song, but looking at this now, I think that burn measures up better with deuces. Actually, I'm gonna cut Chris some slack here. I like deuces. His versatility on deuces actually, where I'm not mad at actually giving that. That can actually be a Chris win though. It can be a Chris win. The I think deuces. There's burn again. If we're trying to be, in my opinion, I like deuces over burn, but burn I can see anybody kind of going ahead and giving that point to Usher almost over any of these songs. I'm gonna go ahead, yeah, I'll do burn to deuces and give deuces that win. But I think again this takes a pretty strong Chris Brown song to go ahead and beat that. Let me know what you think. If I should have kept it the other way, if not, either burn to say goodbye or burn to deuces. I'll give deuces the point over burn. We're gonna go to confessions part two. Confessions part two. See, at least confessions part two for like a loyal, which isn't maybe the best matchup, but I think it's hard. I can see arguments for both. This is tough. Let me know what you're thinking. What makes this the most sense here between these two? These are again maybe they're strong, arguably their strongest songs. I think Loyal, Anthem, Confessions Part Two, Immaculate. It's hard to choose between the two. They're so very different. You need to tell me what you're thinking. I'm gonna go ahead, and I'm not mad at the argument either way, but I'm gonna give it over. I'm gonna give Confessions Part Two over Loyal. He displays the versatility on this record. He has a verse on it. Again, he needs to leverage that. I think if you're just gonna sing back and forth with Usher all night, you're eventually gonna it's gonna get spooky for you. He's gonna take you into a dark spot if you're just singing back and forth. So you need to break it up with a verse, something like that, an anthem where he Chris is not being pushed vocally potentially on like a loyal, but something to combat the confessions sort of ballad. Uh, yeah, it's tough either way, which you're gonna put up against Confessions Part Two. Do the loyal and just perform it right. That's it. You can't just be singing back and forth here. All right, so you got it bad. Also, very very popular song. from Usher. I'm gonna put "You Got It Bad" up against "Say Goodbye." That's also Usher's point. These songs are not easy to beat. On this side, that leaves like the Kiss Kiss, Wall to Wall. Okay, so let's keep going here. Loving This Club. What is Kiss Kiss? And please, if Chris has, again, so he's not being necessarily pushed vocally on these songs. These are pop type records. Um, what is what is he replacing with these? So if you have an issue with my list here, let me know what's being replaced that's more popular that the world is gonna know, not just a Chris Brown stan. What's more popular that pushes him vocally, and that again, when everything is stripped away, are these songs gonna sound good? Wall to wall, when you strip the instruments away, the production away, you know, it's not particularly impressive from Chris Brown vocally. And again, some of these are like when he's younger, but let me know what's more popular than these that's gonna go over better. If you think there's an issue with the list here. So Kiss Kiss, Trading Places, Moving Mountains. These are great dance records too. So I'm gonna give Kiss Kiss the point over. Let me go down. I'm gonna give Kiss Kiss the point over which is a little bit more upbeat. See, because we have these upbeat records from Chris Brown. I'm trying to see here, like some of these upbeat records from Usher, that where it kind of makes a little bit of sense maybe to go up against that. Little Freak with Nicki, very beatable. So I'm gonna give Kiss Kiss with T-Pain over the Little Freak with Nicki. We have Wall to Wall, which we need to see. Loving This Club, I can't do that. Nope. There Goes My Baby. Nope. Lovers and Friends. OMG. DJ God's Falling in Love. Climax. Alright, see, Wall to Wall, I can only maybe say that I don't. There Goes My Baby, Love It. Maybe OMG. That's it. That's it. And I think some of these can be argued either way. A lot of this seems like it's apples and oranges. So Wall to Wall, which is when he's dancing to it's great, But let's see how it looks when he's just singing these records, right? Let's see how that looks. I'm being nice here. Well, I don't want to say being nice, but I prefer. Hold on. I prefer the wall to wall over like an OMG. That's fine. That's fine. We'll take that. Let's see where we're at. So it's first to 11. You make me want to over give me that. You remind me over excuse me miss. One, two, three, four, five. Let's see here. And then one, two, three, four, five. So I have it tied right now, I think. With a tie in there, I would take you down and nice and slow. I have that as a tie right now. Let's keep going. So this, I didn't say there's gonna be a blowout, but this is gonna be close here. Could end up being closer than I might think. Loving this club. Okay, look at me now. I think one of his, probably best verses Chris Brown has on it. Look at me now. I like that over what I'm trying to see what we have left here. I don't like it more than Loving This Club, Lovers and Friends. Not a crazy vocal performance from Chris, but let's go ahead. But showing a lot of versatility. I would say definitely a better song than like a There Goes My Baby. Uh, I'll give it to him over There Goes My Baby. There's gonna be random sort of matchups. Let me know which of these matchups is the craziest to you. All right, now I think I have Chris leading. Love in This Club. I'm gonna give Love in This Club is my joint. Love in This Club. I'm gonna go ahead and it can go up against like maybe Strip, Back to Sleep. I prefer Love in This Club. I prefer it over Strip. Lovers and Friends. And again, Loving This Club. I don't know if Ludacris Lil Jon is on it. One of them. Same thing with Lovers and Friends. These songs do sound. Sometimes they sound a little similar because I think the features on them are kind of similar. But Lovers and Friends, I prefer it over like a Back to Sleep. To be honest with you, I think there's a little more vocal range from Usher on Lovers and Friends as opposed to like a Back to Sleep, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna go ahead and give Lovers and Friends that point over Back to Sleep. So that's a point for Usher there. DJ got us falling in love. Moving Mountains. I'm not big fans of these songs. I think they can be beaten. No Guidance. All right, so Pills and Automobiles has a Yo Gotti feature, also A Boogie with a Hoodie. There's probably a few different versions of this song. I like this song. I like it over like a DJ Got Us Falling in Love. Again, different kinds of songs, right? So again, these matchups are kind of awkward to a certain extent, but I think that again, Chris is going to need to leverage some of these songs where yeah he's showing his versatility. I don't know if he has a verse on this again. Because a few of these songs he has his rap verses on there. So whenever he's rapping, I think he needs to kind of maybe incorporate that to go up against some of these ballads. But oh yeah, let me change. That's supposed to be. I think I'm gonna give that point to Chris actually. No Guidance, Moving Mountains. Climax. Let's talk about these Young Thug features here. So No Limit featuring Young Thug, and then Go Crazy featuring Young Thug. I don't know. Like No Limit. This is tough here. I feel like neither one of them really jumps out. I'm gonna go ahead and tie these though for now. And Free Slime, man. Shout out to Young Thug. Free Slime, man. Hopefully, he gets through whatever he's going through right now. Let me see. So we can go with. Let me tie this right now. The No Limit. I'm not super big on any of these songs. The Usher one, I think, is I don't know. I want to say prefer the Young Thug feature for Usher more than the Chris Brown, but we can kind of link those for now. All right. So what do we have left here? So Beautiful People is one of his big smashes. You know, that probably matches up really well against Moving Mountains. I'm gonna go ahead and match those up. There's also, again, Turn Up the Music, Beautiful People is one other song that I don't have on here. I can't think of it. That kind of is in that same vein that you could replace. I don't think it's going to change the outcome too much, but I'm going to go ahead and put Beautiful People over like a Moving Mountains. Because yeah, some of these Chris Brown songs, again, super poppy, they're just such big records. But he's got to show up to perform. You know, like these songs are big, but you know, when you strip away some of the instrumentation, how is this sounding? You know, we saw what Usher could do on Tiny Desk, which I think I brought up, but because I can't recall any sort of Tiny Desk with Chris Brown, and I could be wrong, but Tiny Desk, anything like that, those unplugged sort of vibes, those performances, acoustic performances from Chris. A lot of his music does not, you know, it's not meant for that, to have the production pulled away. But I'll give Beautiful People over like a Moving Mountains, that's fine. Make sure I have this count right. So we've No Guidance still left here, Ayo and Superhuman. And then we have Climax, Trading Places, and Same Girl, duet with R. Kelly. No Guidance, Ayo, Superhuman. This Ayo and No Guidance. I like Ayo more than No Guidance. Superhuman is my song though too. Let me see the count here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 right now for Usher, and then Chris Brown 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that the count's right. 14. We have the 2 ties. Oh no, I have 8 for Chris Brown. Okay. All right, so let's keep going here. So, Climax, Trading Places, and Same Girl. No Guidance with no guidance with Drake is a good song, but he's not being pushed vocally on this song. And I don't think the song is that big of, it's catchy and everything like that. I didn't like it when it first came out. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and give Trading Places to I'm gonna give Trading Places just vocally and everything like that. No Guys is a way bigger song musically. Trading Places though, it's gonna, I think, ring better like in the building when it's performed. Performing No Guidance without Drake, I don't, great song, but when it comes down to performing these songs, again, it's the whole Omarion Mario thing where it's like you have a great song, you have a smash record, No Guidance is played everywhere, but when you got to start singing, if he's got to start singing, this is, it's not going to be one of those records I think is going to just do so well in a versus sort of environment. This is going Usher here for Trading Places. All right, so I have Trading Places over No Guidance. Maybe he could go the other way, but this record is so big. Drake's on it, but vocally, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed by No Guidance in that sort of measurement. So we have Climax here versus Ayo, Superhuman versus Same Girl. I I prefer Superhuman over like a Same Girl. Same Girl is gonna be controversial. R. Kelly just got 30 years, so there may be something he flips out in this place. The Same Girl, who knows? Superhuman vocally, Chris. I like him vocally on this song. Climax was a big record. I think that Superhuman is stuff. I don't, Same Girl, I like to see. I don't think it's going to go up against. I think Superhuman would beat Same Girl vocally to me. This is tough, but more than likely it's not going to be played. I don't think Usher would play that, even though I want to see him play it. Let me see what we have here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I think that Ayo, I prefer it over Climax. I'm gonna give these last two. I'm gonna give these last two uh to Chris in this case. So let me go ahead and I think this, without the ties haven't been determined yet. but this may put Chris in a good sort of standing here. So I have Chris at 1, 2, or let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think this gives Chris 10 if I do it this way. One, two. So let me go ahead and do this. I'm gonna do Ayo over like just the versatility. I like that. I like those songs. So we have Ayo over Climax, and then Superhuman. I think performed right, it would win over like a lower level Usher song, maybe something he's featured on. I'm a big Superhuman fan, so I'm not gonna. So let me see here. So let's do Superhuman over Same Girl. There's a lot more of a vocal demand in Superhuman. All right, so let's see here. Superhuman. So Chris is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. And then what do I have Usher at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we have 2 ties. So this is closer than what I thought here. So let me go back to my ties. So I have 10 for Chris Brown, 8. So No Limit. I'm gonna go ahead and give that to Usher, or the Young Thug feature. I'm gonna go ahead and give this to Usher. Just because I wanna make sure we don't have any ties necessarily on the board here. Anything where there should be a good choice, like a decent choice, we should be able to choose between these 2 features. So let's give that to Usher. All right, so we have that. That brings Usher to 9. And we still have the Nice and Slow for Take You Down. What's more iconic here? This one's tough to choose. All right, so I prefer Take You Down, right? So I prefer Take You Down, but I'm not mad at Nice and Slow getting the point. Here, I'm not mad at Nice and Slow getting the point here. The other ones, yeah, there's nothing else I would change. What I'm gonna do here, since they have a song together, right? Let me go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and give Nice and Slow over Take You Down. Both really big songs for them both. I prefer Take You Down, but I think that Nice and Slow. I wouldn't be surprised if people give Nice and Slow that point. Nice and Slow is is more of a commercial song, more known, I think, than like a Take You Down, which doesn't really matter. But I think that the Nice and Slow, depending on how it's performed, it could easily, it will not easily, but I think it has the option to beat Take You Down. So what I'll do here is I'll tie them out right now. I'll give Nice and Slow a point over Take You Down, right? Again, take Nice and Slow. There's memes and there's the song is always kind of being brought up, right? As far as within the culture, I think has a little bit more of a cultural impact potentially than to Take You Down, which also does have a pretty big impact too. But I think that Nice and Slow is just a little bit more potentially recognized and has been heard a little bit more than Take You Down. So I'm going to go ahead and tie them out. I don't think this is a crazy stretch, giving Nice and Slow the point over Take You Down. I think that's, crazy. I'll do that. And then they do have some music together here. So we have New Flame and Party. I'll say this, these are both Chris Brown songs that Usher's featured on. There may be more. I think there is more. Maybe one or two more songs that I'm missing here that they're both on. But I think that in New Flame, I think this is what's going to give Usher the battle here, right? So this sort of analysis, this actually has them coming out being fairly tied. I think some of these can be flip flopped. Some of these points I've given either way can be flip flopped. I have this burn here, deuces. Like some of these can be flip flopped, I think, as far as some of the points, depending how you're feeling. But I think that what it comes down to is on New Flame, whose part do you like the most? I think that is consensus that Usher kind of got into a better range on this song. So this is the best comparison is on the song itself, who sounds the best in the song. So I think New Flame, Party more again, not so much of New Flame's more of a ballad. Party is a little bit more poppy, hip hoppy. Gucci's on it. New Flame is more of a an R&B song, and listening to New Flame, it sounds more like an Usher song to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this point here to Usher on this New Flame if it does come up. I think it does need to come up to really set the dispute because there's I think after kind of me going into this, they are probably closer than what I thought. Initially, I thought that Usher would run away, but there is some room here for Chris to go ahead and make this a battle, depending on how you're feeling and how he shows up. But at the end of the day, I think on New Flame, Usher sounds better on New Flame. I'm not going to include Party, but again, this is going to be a close battle. I do have Usher winning. It may not go exactly kind of how I've outlined here. And again, this is closer than what I originally thought, to be honest with you. I thought I was going to go ahead and give Usher the majority of these points, but I think that Chris does have enough versatility here to make this a close battle where it's hard to kind of choose over like a Nice and Slow, Take You Down, Deuces Burn. That could be maybe switched. Some of these features here, they may not play these, the Young Thug features and all that stuff. There's a little flip them or not include it. The Same Girl, I really like that song, but again, it's controversial with R. Kelly. Superhuman, I really enjoy. So this is pretty much a tie, to be honest with you. When I go through it, but I will give just Usher the edge in New Flame. And that concludes the video here. This is a hard choice. And again, this is hypothetical. Who knows where this is gonna go? Hopefully, they can get on the same page and make this happen this year. We'll just have to see how you know, how this all plays out eventually. So hopefully you enjoyed this versus breakdown of Usher versus Chris Brown. Be sure to watch my Dipset versus the Locks breakdown. It was spot on. I was a little bit more sure with that one. This one is a little bit more tie. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. And as always, you can't win if you don't play.